What I want doesn't exist. I'm so fucking repressed it sometimes borders on debilitating. For so many years, the thought of someone telling me what to do spikes my adrenaline. I can't verbalize how much disdain I have for it. And that includes telling me what not to do. More than anything, my brain just can't understand it. Like, what on earth gave you the impression that you could just do that to me? Who the actual fuck are you? It's not even like some personal perspective or worldview. There is legitimately a part of my brain that just gets activated when someone tries exercising any amount of authority over me, and it causes me to start tweaking a little bit. It's even more insane to my brain because the only times I would ever tell a grown adult to do something is if I was fully prepared to make it clear that I wasn't asking. That's inherently not something you just go around doing. I feel like the only human being that understands how serious it is to tell a grown man what the fuck to be doing. As if I would ever even breathe a single atom of oxygen for someone else. I hate having to give niggas the illusion they're in control because it's in my best interest. Makes my fucking skin crawl. This is why if I ever end up in some internet controversy, the best I can do is my dick between a hot dog bun. If I said it, I meant it, and if I did it, I'd do it again. So I don't know what exactly else there is to talk about. My audience are the only people that can get a sincere apology out of me, and they wouldn't even have to ask. People on the internet are the most sheltered fucks. Boldest thing they've ever done is press Control B on a keyboard. Literally the highest concentration of pussies with zero life of their own, commenting vicariously on the lives of others and tricking themselves into thinking they have a life of their own. Like, you're already a complete stranger, which makes your life irrelevant to me, but now you want to come in and start making demands? Fuck out of here. It's even worse when it's teenagers on the internet. 99% of them don't got shit to say worth hearing and quite literally have no idea what they're talking about. If your perception of the world is tied to a fairy tale, you can't say shit to me. I feel so much goddamn contempt when someone tries telling me what I'm supposed to be, which are only ever self-serving requests dressed up as something noble. Makes me want to peel back the most grotesque layers of my psyche and physically. The thought of being something so grotesque it makes people want to vomit feels like a massage on my brain. All I'd have to do is bare my brain naked. That's why I love the triptych so much. I get a physical cringe attack every time someone gets defensive about a difference in thought or desires that doesn't fit the status quo of what's expected of me. Always preaching about what a grown man should be when the only requirement is the backbone to make your own decisions and stand on it no matter how a nigga feel about it. It's not bending over backwards, compromising for the opinions of people you don't even like, which is seemingly understood until the man in question doesn't want to bend over backwards for your view of what the established order should be. But you're supposed to want... Nigga, why the fuck you trying to lecture me on what I'm supposed to want or not want? According to fucking who? Oh, but that's just not normal. Okay, what the fuck do you want me to do about it? Genuinely, what are you going to do other than cry to me about it? Congratulations on feeling pressured enough by the culture that it influences you on such an internal level. Or maybe I'm just at odds with your biological programming. Either way, I still don't give a fuck. If it's not what I want exactly how I want it, then it's beneath me. It's truly that simple. If I don't like what I see, then I don't want it anymore. Just because you like that intrinsic strength, it doesn't mean you're good to try and shame it out of me. What kind of pussy ass shit is that? I love watching people talk shit about niggas like me because they spend the next 5, 10, 20 years slowly coming to the same realizations we did years ago. You wasted your time, dummy, and I got to watch you do it. It's no different than people shitting on artists while they're here than once they're gone, because now it's finally safe to even just play with the idea of seeing the value in what they were expressing. Wow, this guy was really ahead of his time. Was he? I'm so fucking repressed it makes me feel more primal than human. I hate seeing people with no actual authority living life as if they have any. Going around telling people how to live their life, how to express their emotions, what to believe, what to reject. All I have to do is say no and ask what the fuck you're gonna do about it, and suddenly you're a broken record. Which makes no sense, because if nothing you said mattered the first time, what the fuck is repeating it supposed to do? Genuinely, what the fuck else do any of you do to anyone that simply tells you no? Nothing. You don't have authority if you can't enforce it. People trying to police me in any way is crazy to me because it's like, do you have any idea what I'm thinking of doing to you right now? The only entity with authority over me is the government, and by extension, anyone they lend government authority to, which isn't by choice either. Anyone that doesn't fall within those highly strict parameters can't say shit to me. Anytime you try expressing that you just exist on your own terms, the same dumbasses you're speaking to will come in and go, well, that just sounds like you're XYZ with extra steps. I tell you my issue and you respond by supplying more of said issue. Why are you burdening me with your inability to comprehend anything that falls outside your whiny ass worldview? Saying I must be XYZ, like when the fuck did I say that? If that's how I felt, I would use the same language you're using to communicate that, but I didn't. You can't tell me who the fuck I am, nor can you rob my sense of self from me. It's fucking exhausting having so many expectations thrown on you because you're supposed to want this, and you're supposed to care about that, and you're supposed to want to contribute this, and you're not supposed to do that. Like, it is so fucking repulsive. I envy the literal beasts of this world because they're the only thing that external and unwanted expectations aren't forced upon. Not even pets and zoo animals are afforded the luxury. Only something truly perceived as purely primal is free from all the whiny fucking bullshit. That is the only animal allowed the space to breathe. Makes me wish I could give people two options. Be quiet or... Like, how are you worthless in making demands? Shit don't add up. How can someone that's never done anything for me have a drop of influence on my decision making? Answer me. I'd be lying out my fucking ass if I said I didn't enjoy as few and far between as they may be. I grew up naive. I grew up thinking additives were to actually be used accordingly, as objects whose weight is to be respected, not tools to make yourself feel better. The experience of a person with a backbone will make you realize this entire world is simply centered around one worldview. How accurate that view is doesn't matter, as long as it's popular amongst the public. It's to the point that you realize additives themselves were never even intended to be used properly. The way they're used now is how they were always supposed to be, to aid in the disregarding and discarding of absolutely anything that falls outside the ever-changing status quo. I'm already a and that's by default, my baby. So you have to come way harder than whatever weak ass shit you love repeating, which inherently ain't doable because of the skin of the all across the globe, isolation has become the new normal, and not one bit does it surprise me. This species is inherently extremely dysfunctional, which is an idea no one even actually wants to consider, even at the highest levels and institutions. A species was granted the ability to communicate amongst itself on a global scale never before achieved, and with each passing year the discord grows stronger. It's so easy to blame the internet as if the service itself did something wrong and distorted humanity's perception amongst itself. It's easier and more comforting to think this intangible evil came in and corrupted the human population. We live in a time where human expression of thought is the most free-flowing and easily accessible it has ever been in our entire existence. When you actually do the math, you realize the internet was never to blame. It's simply the medium for which massive amounts of the population experienced how dysfunctional this species is and how deeply dislikable other people are. That's part of why it receives all the finger pointing. There is absolutely nothing being done on the internet that wasn't already being done before. People only have the intellect to understand that the internet played a role, but not the intelligence to realize that it was only ever the middleman and not the instigator. Humans are granted the ability to interact with each other more intimately than ever before and realize they fucking hate it. It's so easy to buy into the internet bad narrative when you ignore the thousands of years worth of history and context that came before. It's so easy to buy into any narrative when you ignore the history. Does anyone realize how common it is for the effect to be cited as the cause? Nobody ever considers the odds of you actually hearing the dumb shit that comes out of someone's mouth was already quite low prior to the internet. And the odds of seeing it from specific types of people on such a mass scale that you realize the truth about certain groups, individuals, and humans as a whole was practically non-existent for most people. For the first time in history, observable information from one generation can't just be swept away and forgotten with the next. There will always be people paying attention to what came before because the internet has made it more easily accessible than ever. These circles will never stop spinning, but the internet will undoubtedly slow it down, and in many ways it already has. It is always easier to cite the effect as the cause. People place the blame on the blameless so casually it's dizzying. The people most responsible for mass dysfunction being oblivious to their own involvement is not at all shocking though. Exact same group of dumbasses that will yell up and down how you're not owed anything because XYZ, and then when you return that exact same energy you've suddenly done the unthinkable. What kind of pussy willingly allows a one-sided relationship? Yeah, let me bow down to your every demand at my own expense while getting absolutely nothing in return for it. Humans are nothing more than bad biology, and I have too much self-respect to lie to myself as if I don't see it. Isolation is the new normal because the old one fucking sucked. All ran and dictated by people oblivious to their own dysfunction. There is nothing more blasphemous to a dysfunctional dipshit than the notion that people in real life aren't any less irritating and disappointing as they are online. You take away someone's scapegoat and they act like you said a slur. Go back 300 years, I bet my whole career you could find a journal or publishing that sounds like it was written just the other day. In 300 years, that will be me. This species keeps going in circles because it's never had the intelligence to do anything else. Any member of it that does will already recognize that nothing can be changed, which means the only thing they can do is use those spinning circles to their benefit. The capacity to care about the hopeless is a massive fool's errand. The distribution of power in this world is the way it is for a reason. I found out about William Blake a few months ago in his Red Dragon paintings. They're these magnificent pieces that illustrate what I subsequently also found out is the Red Dragon in the Bible, who is explicitly referred to in the book of Revelation as Satan. I had no idea the Bible had dragons. The concept of a mythical beast essentially being a modified human is so fucking fascinating to me. To resemble something human but still not be human enough. Between the paintings and more so the explicit reference to Satan, I naturally played around with replacing the title I originally had for the final third of my triptych. I quickly knew it was more than perfect because the triptych itself was already structured as the fall and rebirth of an angel in 3 distinct acts, with the middle chapter being a story time about an extremely bizarre interaction I had with a girl on the street asking for my help the same night I recorded Broken Family. Disillusioned was the free fall after his only remaining wing was clipped. 2 angels marked the angel having descended all the way into hell. And the third act was the angel continuing to fall while growing a different pair of wings, with the ending being him finally using them. A painting in written form. The cherry on top was that the first chapter begins by explicitly referring to the life that was advertised to me as nothing more than a fairy tale. The dichotomy of bashing the fairy tale lie and doing it under a title involving angels and dragons was just too perfect. The triptych itself had zero metaphors or references alluding to any of this outside of the title, and I unfortunately don't expect anyone to analyze YouTube videos with the same respect they would an art piece. This was all just the way I personally viewed it while putting it together. I don't call this YouTube channel a canvas for nothing. So like I said, when the title Black Dragon came around, it was like it was waiting for me the entire time. That was the extent to which I felt the title at the time, but now that the triptych is dead, I've grown to connect with it more literally. I wish I could very literally abandon my human form and grotesquely mutate into a gigantic black dragon and devour everything indiscriminately in a never-ending expulsion of flame that only stops whenever I feel like screaming in a never-ending attempt to get all the hatred and anger out of my 600,000 pound system. Being the beast that causes the apocalypse is the greatest honor I can imagine.